always yearned for a CEO who would take me to Coldplay. मुझ में ही कोई कमी होगी. I I can't believe.
My founder reacted to this post, by the way. So Madhav responded on it saying, ki, hey, I got you Vinod Khosla signature. So So when I was joining Vahan, one of my preconditions was I'm a huge Vinod Khosla fan. I've grown up on him, right? Like, he's one of my heroes. And I said, listen, if I'm coming, I want him to kind of sign something for me. And he had gone to US and he got that for me. So when I posted maybe, my CEO doesn't love me, he replied on that comment saying, yeah, I got you Vinod Khosla. So that it was all good humor. Indian founders are building in a very, very resource constraint, talent constraint, because a lot of good talent also get poached by top companies like Google and Microsoft.
And they leave India.
Yeah, and they leave India, right? So I think I would actually kind of almost say that I'm extremely proud, having worked with founders, how hard it is to kind of make a company. You are a founder, right? You would know how hard it is, right? And I wouldn't know because I've never done that. I always say, founder ना company को 0 to 100 भी ले जा सकता है और 100 to 0 भी ले आ सकता है. हम लोग ना 1 to 10 ले जाएंगे, 10 to 20 ले जाएंगे, पर ना उसके ऊपर ले जाएंगे, पर नीचे भी नहीं ले जाएंगे. So वो मैरिज है. एक स्कैम चल रहा है ग्लोबली कि रेज्यूमे सब एक दूसरे का देख के बनाते हैं. रिक्रूटर कीवर्ड पढ़ता है. एंड एसेंशियली दिस इज जस्ट अ वेरी लो हैंगिंग गेट पास फॉर समवन टू मीट द इंटरव्यूअर. व्हेन पीपल कम, आई आस्क देम, ये ऑब्जेक्टिव जो रेज्यूमे पे लिखा है ये क्या है बताना. They don't know the objective because it's just copy pasted. I had written a post about it that like bring your scars to the interview. Keep your flaunting for Instagram, right? People flaunt on resume.
But यार वो भी वो इसलिए ला रहे हैं ना क्योंकि शायद HRs को वही चाहिए.
Correct. मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना global scam है, सब मिलेगा. I have not made resume for a very long time. So I said यार मेरा LinkedIn है यही है. So आप LinkedIn से कर लो. तो नहीं आप कुछ एक one pager बना दो. So I like authentically made that one pager and I saved the file as Geeta Sar and I sent कि यार ये गीता सार है, like यही है अब जो है. And they said अरे ये तो नहीं चलेगा. मैंने कहा तो फिर बात ही नहीं करना आगे.
Hi, welcome to Office Tales and People podcast. This episode I have a guest. I don't think so I want to introduce him. He's extremely popular on LinkedIn and I call him one-liner guy. So I will go straight to Kartik and start conversation. Kartik, welcome to Office Tales and People podcast.
Thank you so much.
And like we discussed, I am not giving any introduction of yours.
Yes.
Let people figure out what do you write, why you're so popular. In fact, I'm going to do this podcast by reading what you write. And I want the story behind because your one-liners are extremely intriguing. And I love reading them. A lot of people are loving it. So let's start with the first one. Are you ready?
Okay, thank you. Yes.
So I think you wrote one which said, in love, it's not you, it's me. In PIP, it's not me, it's you. I want the story behind this.
So thought is simple, right? We find the most politically correct way of disengaging from a relationship, right? And usually the most politically correct way of getting out of a relationship is saying, putting things on yourself, right? Like, "Yaar, meri galti hai, I'm bad." And in PIP, I feel, it's the other way around where you just put everything on the employee, that he or she is the problem, but you are correct. So I just find that dichotomy very similar in different ways, but the underlying soul of both conversations is very, very similar. So I usually try and see two different things, which usually don't come together, but I somehow seem to find common connections. All these things in life and work is where this came from.
Awesome. So, of course, I've collected too many of these, so I'm going to pick up few that we can discuss. You wrote that problems begin when small companies starts having big company problems. I want to know more about that.
So it's more nuanced, right? So I think what usually lands up happening is all startups who have grown up on Amazon and Nike and Netflix, they kind of think of copying their systems and processes without realizing that you are pulling out a steering of a Ferrari and putting into a Maruti, right? So this thing, don't copy if you can't paste, right? So when small companies try to pretend like a big company and try and bring their systems, they neither remain themselves nor they become a bigger company, and they completely lose the way. So I think it's that nuance that I wanted to capture in it.
I really like your example of Ferrari staring into a Maruti. That's a very interesting perspective. Coming to the next one, you said something on this Men's Day, Let's take a moment to genuinely recognize and celebrate men bravely fighting patriarchy by finally putting something. I can't
So
read that ahead.
essentially, so what typically happens is we celebrate Women's Day, and I have a issue with that as well,
Yeah.
right? The moment you make that big enough, you're almost making it an event, right? But on Men's Day, we usually don't do much, and rightfully so. But I just felt men have to do very little to kind of gain a lot of respect, while women have to do quite a lot
Lot.
to kind of get at the same pedestal. So it was a very sarcastic take on men, that finally, if a guy puts his plate into the kitchen, is celebrated. So it was more sarcasm on Men's Day. And the fact that, because I see a lot of people coming to me and saying, "अरे यार, Women's Day पे इतना करते हो, Men's Day पे कुछ क्यों नहीं करते?"
And on that, I want to tell you, in 15 years of, running L&D enterprise, the first time I got a query to run a Men's Day awareness program in the organization, and I asked the leader, what came, in your mind to celebrate a Men's Day like this? It's like men are feeling left out in the organization. I was like, is that your reason to celebrate Men's Day rather than opening up a conversation and helping them to understand what exactly Women's Day is all about? You actually coming up with Men's Day celebration? Is it going to be tit for tat? And the leader never, of course, called me back, but which is obvious. But I'm just saying that uh, what has been your experience on Women's Day, and how organizations are treating it to be that pink coupon day that every woman will get to shop? I'm shocked to death on it.
No, so I feel every initiative starts from a good place.
Of
I
course.
genuinely believe that it's a patriarchal world and women have been on the wrong end of it. You cannot deny it. And an initiative like this was started with the intent that at least it becomes a conversation starter. But as this goes along and gets passed through people to companies to corporates to countries to generations, the process becomes the god. So instead of truly saying the truest success is when I don't need to celebrate Women's Day, where they truly are equal, now this has become a milestone event to show how progressive I am. So
Exactly.
people don't want to be progressive. They want to show off how progressive I am. So I want kind of, and in a way it's changing. And like I said, everything that I say, I've realized this, right? If you want to tell truth, make people laugh, else they will kill you. So if you see that's one thing I've kept. So I'll usually talk about extremely sensitive
Didn't
issues.
happen this with Kunal Kamra though.
Yes, and anyways, like freedom of speech is a whole podcast altogether, but that's kind of in a way visible. And by the way, like I have always said, countries' cultures become subset of companies' cultures,
Absolutely correct.
right? So I think that's in a way the flow, right?
So, Kartik, the next one, I think this is one of the funniest ones that you've written. Overheard two people on my flight calling their manager with the code name Indigo. I'm guessing because he doesn't give them any room to operate. Kids are good these days.
So I actually said they don't, manager doesn't give leg room to operate. So I think, see, when I was growing up as a kid, right, my biggest battles with my kids were ki Natraj better pencil hai ke Apsara. But today's kids are like extremely self-aware about their rights, about, toxicity, about a lot of things, right? And they're very vocal. So I did overhear two kids talking, and I was on an Indigo flight, and I heard two people just talking trash about their manager. And like I said, my I have a habit of finding connections between things that usually don't come together. I was sitting in an Indigo, I was struggling with the leg space. I found these people, and I just saw some common connection between this flight and how managers operate. So again, very very nuanced feedback or opinion on people wanting more space these days. I have grown up in a culture where I didn't get space, and it took me a lot of time to get out of that problem because I almost inherited it. So, my first years at CHRO, I was the worst person because I wanted to control everything. And it's only with time I kind of figured, and I'm still learning, working with a lot of younger people, that you got to let them be, right? So, that's where the nuance comes from.
But I want to ask you on this particular nuance that in today's time, the generation that's coming up, they are wanting too much of agency, which is the right thing. But at the same time, do you feel any resistance from them to upskill or to learn more, to to really do more?
Enough people have spoken about it. So a lot of it, I will say something that I resonate with. I think we were all born in different eras. They've been born in a era of abundance, right? I got my first iPhone after my first job. My nephew has an iPhone in sixth standard, right? So it's almost unfair for us to give them that privilege, and when they operate out of that privilege we say, come on, you're privileged, right? So it's a bit of a conundrum there. I do believe it'll course correct. I think life is like a great teacher, and their start point, they're better than us on some regard, and they learn from us in some regard. But how we think, as Javed Akhtar said really beautifully, that we think everybody before us is dumb, and everybody who have come after us is dumb, but we somehow seem to be the most evolved generation. So I think I genuinely feel, I think we got to take it easy, and they got to take it a bit seriously, but we'll get there.
I like that. I like that. All right. So the next one, okay, very controversial across the world. What was that? Always yearned for a CEO who would take me to Coldplay. मुझ में ही कोई कमी होगी. I I can't believe
I
it.
know
You
it's
dealt with the subject very humorously, and I think it was very interesting way to deal with it. I want you to share your thoughts on
no,
that.
this has no nuance. Yeah, this is just me. Just I found it really funny, right? And very unfortunate, and I don't think we should be laughing about it. But I just genuinely found it funny. And I just, like I said, yeah, why has someone never taken me to any good place? And then in a way, I took a almost a controversial reverse take on, maybe because I'm a man, maybe no one took me out, right? And I do this because I genuinely don't take sides. Like,
Of
there are places
course,
where
you
men
should
have
not.
really been on the wrong side, right?
Yeah.
And there have been women who have, but somehow I find this lopsided. And this was more a take on, hey, come on, we guys also suffer a bit, but it was pure humor. It had no
It
other
really
meaning.
impacted me on a very personal level because I think nobody really cared to find out before, we all together ruined this woman's career, this man's. I'm sure he's facing a lot of issues, but the way that woman had to run away, and literally right now she's just running away from the normal civil life, and it is very disheartening to see how people make judgments and without even knowing the real story, how somebody's entire career has gone.
Yeah, so see, my view is slightly different. I think there's definitely a learning there. Don't get caught, right? That's one learning. Second is also, I think my founder reacted to this post, by the way. So Madhav responded on it saying, ki, "Hey, I got you Vinod Khosla signature." So So when I was joining Vahan, one of my preconditions was I'm a huge Vinod Khosla fan. I've grown up on him, right? Like
Right.
he's one of my heroes. And I said, listen, if I'm coming, I want him to kind of sign something for me.
Right.
And he had gone to US and he got that for me. So when
Right.
I posted maybe, my CEO doesn't love me, he replied on that comment saying, yeah, I got you Vinod Khosla. So that it was all in good
Yeah.
humor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also think, yeah, I think uh, like gender agnostic, right? It wasn't cool. I'm sure it's not just that woman, right? There is a woman at home and there is a husband at home as well. So I think actions have consequences.
Absolutely.
But whatever happened was a bit unfortunate.
So, Karthik, the next one. 10 people not let go on time because 100 layoffs later. Delay doesn't save jobs, it compound mistakes. Ignore 10 awkward conversations, get 100 farewell cakes. Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell
So
me about it.
this is as straightforward as I could be, right? I think founders have sunk cost fallacy, where when they take a decision, I've seen them getting so attached to it that it takes them so long to realize they should have cut the cord long back. And I've been in places, I've worked with 23 founders in my life now.
Wow, that's a number.
Yes, and founders with 20 people employees, right? 20 employees, and then founders with 5,000 people, right? And there's this common streak, and that's why I think good founders have a lot of truth tellers around them. uh, that's step one. Step two is, are you willing to hear something that you're not ready for? I think I've seen in a few founders, I think Dipender talks about this quite a bit, where he learned this very quickly, that he has to kind of take a very non-emotional decision. And sometimes I also feel founders do posturing, because they have an investor to take care of. There is a community that they believe is judging them, but the cost of delay can sometimes be cost to the company.
Actually, I have a question on this. You have worked for an international organization like Benetton, and you have also been working with a lot of founders in India. What is it that you have to share? The difference between the two that is keeping the Indian founders behind.
See, I think, like I said, हर country का भी एक stage होता है evolution का, right?
Right.
India में like we are not even 100 years into independence, right?
Yes.
It has taken a lot of time for a lot of people to come out of basic needs.
Right.
Right? Today, if you have Wi-Fi, you have a college degree, you have a roof over your head, and you eat 3 meals or 2 meals, you are in world's top 5%. That's the privilege with which we live in, right? So I think India is still far from where we need to be, right? So I think अभी जो founders बना रहे हैं वो बहुत एक hard ecosystem के against बना रहे हैं. In fact, my yesterday's post or maybe recent post was around how hard it is for founders to build companies, because every time you become big, there is someone chasing you, right? So I don't think it's also in India or maybe Indian startups, you're always a person less and a dollar less. So in a way that thrives a lot of innovation. But if you look at all Indian startups, they're getting a lot of money from Western investors, right? So are they technically Indian companies? If you purely look at portfolio, maybe not. They have Indian founders, right? So I think we are at a stage. Benetton is more equivalent to what I would say a Reliance, maybe, where Reliance is like 100 times better than and bigger than Benetton, right? So I think it's not a fair comparison.
Sure.
But I do feel Indian founders are building in a very resource constraint, talent constraint, because a lot of good talent also get poached by top companies like Google and Microsoft.
And they leave India.
Yeah, and they leave India, right? So I think I would actually kind of almost say that I'm extremely proud, having worked with founders, how hard it is to kind of make a company. You are a founder, right? You would know how hard it is, right? And I wouldn't know because I've never done that, and hence maybe I don't deserve the right to comment on like founders. I have views on operating, where I feel I've operated for 16 years. So I have views on how we can operate a company. That's a place maybe I know more than a founder, because most of my founders were young, never did a job. But there is something that they know. So I always say founder ना कंपनी को 0 to 100 भी ले जा सकता है और 100 to 0 भी ले आ सकता है. हम लोग ना 1 to 10 ले जाएंगे, 10 to 20 ले जाएंगे, पर ना उसके ऊपर ले जाएंगे पर नीचे भी नहीं ले जाएंगे. सो वो मैरिज है एक.
और वो रिस्क कौन ले रहा है वो, और वो रिस्क कौन ले सकता है, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन देम.
करेक्ट. एंड यूजुअली यू गेट इंटेलिजेंस इन हाइंडसाइट, राइट. बाद में जब वो चल जाता है देन एवरीबॉडी सेज वाओ, मैंने बोला था चलेगा, राइट. सो आई थिंक दैट्स वेयर, सो आई हैव अ लॉट ऑफ लाइक रिस्पेक्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ व्हाट दे ब्रिंग एंड व्हाट आई ब्रिंग and what all like professionals bring in general. And I think, yeah.
So Kartik, the last one, okay, yet to read a resume that doesn't have strategic in it.
So एक स्कैम चल रहा है ग्लोबली कि रेज्यूमे सब एक दूसरे का देख के बनाते हैं.
हाँ.
रिक्रूटर कीवर्ड पढ़ता है, एंड एसेंशियली दिस इज जस्ट अ वेरी लो हैंगिंग गेट पास फॉर समवन टू मीट द इंटरव्यूअर. Today, if I make a resume and I just make up companies, Google, Microsoft, right, and I send it, there are high chances I will get through where a HR person would call me. Nobody truly. So I do this exercise when people come. I ask them, ये objective जो resume पे लिखा है ये क्या है बताना. They don't know the objective because it's just copy pasted. And what most people do is everyone is in love with this word strategy, right? So that's like and this is again as usual a sarcasm on like everyone who use words, and strategic is one common denominator for everyone. And it's weird because 99% of the people don't do strategy, don't know strategy. And I just found it very, very funny. And so we all see it, but somehow, like I said, yeah, what's this connection? So that's where it came.
In fact, I also, whenever read any resume and I see strategy, I do something else. I close the resume. You know why? 15 years of running BRC, I still don't know exactly the strategy that I'm running with right now, whether it's a strategy or not.
Yeah.
I'm just organically building something day by day, how I feel, what I feel. Based on that, I'm just building, okay? And I think every business needs to pivot at some point in time, or almost all the time. How is it that these 21-year-old, a 25-year-old will say we are the strategic professionals in the space of blah blah blah?
No, yeah, and like everywhere, right? It's like strategically design the engagement calendar. Like तुमने दिवाली celebration कराया है, होली कराया है यार, इसको strategy में मत डालो. So it's as simple as that.
I just feel, I think also it's not really their problem, you know. I think we as a culture, the way India is currently working, we are just telling all our people, or all our, younger generation to do fastest things, with 10-minute delivery, with everything coming on the fingertips. I think they're getting tuned to this speed, and they don't want to invest in thinking, stopping, understanding, really going deeper into what should they say that really represent who they are, what they do, what can they do, what are they willing to learn. नहीं कर रहा है कोई.
पर सबको वही चाहिए ना. That's my point. See, and I had written a post about it that like bring your scars to the interview. Keep your flaunting for Instagram, right? People flaunt on resume.
बट यार वो भी वो इसलिए ला रहे हैं ना क्योंकि शायद एचआरस को वही चाहिए.
करेक्ट. मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, ग्लोबल स्कैम में सब मिले हुए हैं. Resume, no. Trust me, I have done this, and you do it because you train a lot of people. Ask them, has anyone read cover to cover a resume properly?
No, I can vouch on it that nobody.
People long form reading chodo, you cannot read like properly, and you'll just look for those keywords, look at if it's matching, and kind of just moving to the next stage.
One small fun fact: in 15 years of BRC, I have never hired anyone with their resume. Never. I don't even know right now who has what resume. I don't know. This guy is with me from, I don't know, donkey years now. I do not have any educational background of what he carries, but he's with me from, so many years, and that's what matters, right? I don't know how are we going to fix it. What's your
No, no,
take on how are we going to fix
no,
this?
it'll fix. It'll 1% at a time. So someone, a little few years earlier, someone had reached out to me for a job. So I have not made resume for a very long time. So I said, यार मेरा LinkedIn है यही है. So आप LinkedIn से कर लो. तो नहीं नहीं आप कुछ एक वन पेजर बना दो. तो I like authentically made that one pager and I saved the file as Geeta Sar. And I sent कि यार ये गीता सार है, like यही है अब जो है. And they said अरे ये तो नहीं चलेगा. मैंने कहा तो फिर बात ही नहीं करना आगे. People just, and I'm telling you, on LinkedIn, in everybody sounds the same, everybody's giving gyan. I get a lot of this where I have two people, one set of people who absolutely love my post, message me. I get so many messages. I love your writing, this and that, and they call me out कि कार्तिक ये ज़्यादा हो गया, ये वो, right? And I so Delhi AQI पे मैंने लिख दिया था and I deleted that. By the way, I said यार Delhi AQI is worse than Gaza, and there is a war happening in Gaza. So it triggered कि यार
I know,
don't make
I
it.
know.
So
Yeah.
I get. So I realize that people love it, don't like it, they respond. And there's a set of people, are yaar, you're a CHRO, 16 years. Do you think you should? I said, yaar, if you, the whole point of
I think they
link,
are confused between being childish and childlike.
yeah,
You are a childlike person because I've been following you from quite some time now. And I think they feel that this could be childish because they themselves, the ones who are judging, let me be honest that they are confused between the two
no, they
traits.
mean well.
No, no, they mean well. I'm
They're
saying
saying,
they're
कि,
just
अरे
confused
यार,
between
yeah,
these two traits.
yeah.
I think we all need to be childlike and not childish. And I think some childish posts that you may have written, you have realized that they were not okay.
No, you
And you
the
make mistakes,
the
and you
whole
can.
point is be authentic,
Yeah.
and then let right people come to you, right? And jobs are like that also. Like I've met, I was just having coffee with someone who stayed in Marico for 17, 18 years, and he said, yeah, like 10 years in a company. And I was also like, yeah, I worked 5 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I said, yeah, maybe 10 years. And then I dwelled on it for 2 days. And I said, yeah, it's not number of years, it's rate of learning. A person who has been in a war country for 1 year knows more about survival than someone who has been in a normal country for 10 years. It's not years. So I'm kind of recalibrating almost everything. And we discussed this, right? This is not a podcast of people who know, who don't know. Let's just say we don't know anything and let's just question everything. And let's be
Absolutely.
authentic enough to just take a lighter, darker take on how we do things and be okay about it. And that's why I take a lot of my digs are on HR,
Yeah.
on how
Yeah,
we
of
do.
course, of
You
course.
gotta be easy with yourself.
Thanks. So, Karthik, before I close this podcast and with your LinkedIn amazing posts, I want to lastly understand you're currently with Vahan, and I know Vahan right from the beginning of it. Also, I also got a chance to meet Madhav. It's a very fascinating startup. I want to know a little more about the startup and also how you guys are, empowering so many blue collars.
Sure.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah. So I think one love the mission and vision. Vahan's mission is to break the chain of ovarian lottery. All of us in here, we just got lucky where we were born. We have
Absolutely.
no credit for it. The millions and millions of people who didn't get the ovarian lottery, right? So what Vahan does is, in a world where AI replaces, Vahan.ai is a company where AI empowers. So we use our platform. We are a managed marketplace where large clients like Swiggy, Blinkit, Zomato, Uber, Tata Electronics, different industries need a lot of blue collar workers, and we have a lot of recruitment agencies who can offer this, and they come on our platform and we help them match demand and supply. We have a AI recruiter, it's a voice bot which is able to reach out to lakhs of people, save human productivity, help us get great leads which have faster conversion. And we feel all my life for 15 years I worked in solving and creating for India's 1%. Benetton was high-end fashion, housing was properties worth crores, my glam, beauty, Win Beauty, Serena Williams, and I thought that's the world, right? And now in last 1 year I'm serving 95% of India, which is like the real India. And I'm very grateful that through my work and as a company, we are able to kind of make impact in people. It just puts food on the table. They're able to send their kids to school. And even if you can do a very small part in it, it's a very big, like, personal satisfaction that Vahan gives.
Thank you for sharing this, and many congratulations to you, to Madhav, to the entire team of Vahan. And thanks from all of us Indians
No,
that
of course.
you guys are working on this particular idea. And thanks for coming in. And after a lot of follow ups, you finally are on my podcast. So thank you so
It's
much.
been a privilege. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Shikha. All the best.
Thank you for watching Office Tales and People podcast. I had Kartik with me, and this was one of the most fun podcasts that I have shot. I hope you enjoyed it too. Until next time, ciao.